For all the young ladies who are listening right
Yeah.
now, who feel like their voice is not valid, their dreams are not valid. And we've been,
Mhm.
both of us, we've been at this point in our lives where, when when I was a young woman, I felt like I had nothing substantial to say and I should
Yeah.
just keep shut. That my dreams were not valid, especially because we live in a culture and society that puts corporate jobs and all of these big corporations, big
Mhm.
brands on a pedestal. And if you're creative,
Yeah.
if you're a young person finding your voice, you don't matter.
Yeah.
What would be
Yeah.
your advice to those people?
Did you know, before I start my answer, did you know? Do you hear that?
Yes, is that a
that's
plane?
that's an airplane.
Yeah.
This break was brought to you by airlines. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm gonna preface my answer by saying I watched a video of yours a few years ago. I see your face changing, like, oh my god, what video is she talking about?
Which video? Especially if you when you said a few years ago?
A few
It couldn't
years
be anything
ago,
good.
where you said, just start making. I forget what you said verbatim, but you said, just start making. Because it
Start
doesn't
before you're
matter.
ready.
Yeah, just start. Because if you're afraid that people aren't going to watch or whatever, you're like, it's okay. As long as you affect one life, if you're able to change one life, if your video was able to touch just one person, then that video was already worth it. I think you said something. I remember that because that stays with me until today. Did you know that that line holds me, ties me over on my dark days where I'm just like, oh my God, people aren't watching my video. But, 50 people watched it. And if they learned something from it, if their lives were changed for the better for it, that's 50 people I helped with that video. And you got that ball rolling for me.
Always.
And you keep that ball rolling for me on the days where I feel that I don't have inspiration. And I'm gonna tell you this honestly. That's really it. That was you. So
Love you, babe.
thank you for that.
Appreciate
I
that.
love you. I love you. And to the other girls, I appreciate you. And to the other girls listening now who feel like what you have to say doesn't matter, it always matters. You will never know if something that you have to say is something that will save someone's life.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't really have to know. You don't have to. It's things like this are usually kind of thankless, because if you have something to say, it means you want to say it, right? So just say it. There will always be someone there who will listen. And if you don't know what to say, but you feel like you do want to say something, get to know yourself. Get to know who you really are, because that's really the only way that you can bring forth the most authentic version of yourself. When you get to know yourself, you're more sure about your decisions. You know what you want to say. You know your boundaries because you know what you are comfortable with and what you are not. And it saves a lot of very confusing times when you are able to look yourself in the mirror and say, look, Inka, it's just you and me. There's no one listening. How do you really feel about this situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you toss a coin, right? And it's like heads or tails. And then you chose heads, but it landed on tails. And you feel bad. Then you really know what you wanted. Yeah. It's like that. It's like that. Get to know yourself. And don't be afraid.
That's so true. Yeah. I mean, having a strong sense of self is really foundational with anything, whether you're working in broadcasting, VO like yours, or even in just your personal life. You're going to be constantly pulled into different directions. You're going to be constantly loving people in a way that is not translated well, if you don't know
Yeah.
who you are, what you want, what your boundaries are, and how you define all of these good things and not so good things in your life, how you
Hmm.
use them to shape who you are and how you see the
Yeah.
world.
As an
Yeah.
example, I always thought that I didn't want to have kids because my ex was like, I don't want to have kids. But after we broke up, I do pala. I want kids.
Really?
Yeah. I think did I ever tell you that before? I don't want kids. That's not
Yes,
me.
I
That
starkly remember you telling me you
that's not
don't
me.
want
I want
kids.
kids. I want kids. Pala. You know what I mean?
Surprise!
Surprise, Inka. It's like that mirror thing. What do you want ba talaga, Inka? So, yeah.
And when you were saying that earlier, like just say it. And you're saying, even if it's just one life that you get to change, I just thought in my head, even if it's just your life that you get to
Even
change.
if it's just your life.
It doesn't even have to be another human being. It's just like
Yeah.
when you say it, when you stand your ground and you're authentic
Mm-mm.
about it, and it changes your life because you were finally able to tell yourself that this is what I want.
Yeah.
This honestly, this is what I want. This is what
Yeah.
I'm feeling. This is what I want to go towards. That in itself is a powerful thing, and it's so
Very.
important to be able to stand your ground in all of those things.